Millions of people from all over the world, primarily from Latin America and Africa, are ready to fight for Ukraine, but cannot come to our country on their own. This was stated by serviceman Igor Lutsenko. I am not exaggerating. Millions of people around the world want to fight for Ukraine, Lutsenko emphasized. According to him, these foreigners need Ukraine as a state to organize their arrival, because representatives of Latin America and Africa cannot just come to Ukraine without a visa, without the consent of the European Union. There is no possibility. In addition, there are SBU checks. There are other bureaucratic procedures. That is, these volunteers themselves, who want to fight for Ukraine for various reasons, for absolutely selfish reasons, they want to gain combat experience. All these people cannot come here because we have a bunch of obstacles to this, Lutsenko said. He claims that volunteers are currently collecting funds to bring in foreign volunteers. He is convinced that the Cabinet of Ministers of Ukraine can issue a corresponding resolution in 15 to 20 minutes, and everything will be ready. More than 8,000 foreign volunteers have reportedly joined the Ukrainian ground forces, with the total number to be likely at least twice as high across all military branches. Konstantin Chmelevsky, the Ukrainian military's acting head of the Department for Coordination of Foreigners' Military Service, shared this with the Ukrainian news outlet Hromadski. The number of foreign armed forces volunteers increased from 10 to 150 a month to around 600, which was influenced in part by the fact that our foreign recruitment center has now begun full operations, said Chmelevsky. South Americans reportedly make up around 40% of foreign soldiers. Detailed information, particularly about which countries have contributed the most volunteers, is kept secret for security reasons. However, the Ukrainian military revealed that a large portion comes from Colombia, with many of them serving in dedicated combat units. One of them includes Ukraine's 47th Separate Mechanized Brigade Assault Unit, comprising military Colombian fighters, in addition to volunteers from Brazil, Italy, Mexico, Peru, and Zimbabwe. Recall, Russia uses foreign mercenaries against Ukraine. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelenski claimed that his country's troops in the northeast are battling foreign mercenaries recruited by Russia from various countries, vowing to respond. The Ukrainian president visited frontline troops in the Kharkiv region, hearing reports from his warriors that fighters from China, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Pakistan, and African countries were on board with Russia. Russia is already known to have been assisted by thousands of North Korean troops in the defense of its Kursk region, and Ukraine had already accused Moscow of recruiting Chinese fighters, a charge denied by Beijing. At the time of reporting, there was no comment from the additional countries accused by Zelensky of joining Russia's war effort.
In a few months, the 3rd Army Corps, commanded by Colonel Andriy Byletsky, will liberate the bridgehead that the Russian army has occupied behind the Zarabets River, between Borovay in Kharkiv Oblast and Lyman in Donetsk Oblast. This was stated on the air of News Factory by Artie Green, a serviceman and military expert. At the moment, the 3rd Corps continues to attach units, and the Lyman direction received recently. In a few months, it will deploy in full force, and the bridgehead captured by the enemy will dematerialize. The wedge that the Russians have driven between Lyman and Borovoy over the past 7 months, the 3rd Army Corps will eat it up by the end of the year. It will do it in a clever, NATO way, so that the infantry goes to finish and take prisoners, not to storm. I think it's over for them, Green said. On August 7th, the 3rd Army Corps reported that the 3rd Assault, 60th and 63rd Brigades, along with the attached 66th Brigade, had held the last line of defense in the Luhansk region and continued to confront 3 Russian armies at once, 20th, 1st Tank and 25th. Recently, the 53rd UMBR has also joined the Corps' fighting order. For more than a month of the defensive operation, the Corps' units have destroyed almost 2,000 occupants, and about 1,500 more, the enemy's sanitary losses. Eliminated 664 units of equipment and weapons, another 385 were hit. They shot down 4,217 UAVs of various types, another 41 were suppressed or hit. Today the Corps is holding back the enemy from breaking through to the strategic hub of the Slavyansk-Konstantinovskaya agglomeration. Recall, the pace of the enemy's forward units advancing on their bridgehead along the Korniai-Zarabets River toward Lyman, as well as along the Oskil front, where units of the enemy's 20th Army, reinforced by part of the 2nd Motorized Rifle Division from the 1st Tank Army, are operating, has significantly slowed down. Despite active attacks along the directions of Lipov, Kharkivka, Novo, Redkadub, and Zelenaya Dolina, Shandriholov, the enemy's forward units have yet to achieve any substantial results even tactically. Except for several assault groups from the 254th Motorized Rifle Regiment, which managed to advance about 400 meters south of Kharkivka toward the village of Sredny, these attacks have brought little success so far. However, in the neighboring sector of the enemy's 25th Army, operating south of the 20th Army, it appears the enemy has managed to consolidate in Torsky and advance south of the Lyman, Kremina road.
As reported on the night of the 3rd of August, the SBU's attack drones visited Saki airfield, 150 miles from the front line in Russian-occupied Crimea. The explosive drones destroyed one Sukhoi Su-30 fighter jet and damaged another, and also damaged 3 Sukhoi Su-24 bombers, according to the SBU. An aviation depot, potentially containing weapons or fuel, was also hit, the SBU claimed. The successful special operation of the SBU in Saki is another step towards weakening the enemy's ability to wage a war of aggression against Ukraine, the SBU announced. The occupiers should remember that they will never feel safe on our land. What's especially embarrassing to the Russians is that they just finished building at least 12 concrete bunker shelters at Saki to house the aircraft operating from the often attacked base. Inside these reinforced shelters, we've identified both jets and larger drones, including the Orion, reported Tatarigami, the head of the Ukrainian Frontelligence Insight Analysis Group. According to Euromaidan Press media outlet, the shelters didn't fully protect the planes at Saki, if the SBU's claims are accurate. The Saki raid brings to 27 the number of Russian aircraft Ukrainian drones have destroyed or damaged since the 1st of June. It's not the worst month for the Russian Air Force since Russia widened its war on Ukraine 42 months ago, but it's close. In all, Russian forces have lost 162 planes and 157 helicopters. The SBU's deep strike campaign, mostly targeting Russia's own deep strike assets, dramatically widened this summer. Frustrated in their attempts to intercept Russian aircraft and their munitions in mid-air closer to their targets, Ukrainian forces are increasingly aiming left of the boom, to borrow the US Army's phrasing, and hitting the aircraft and munitions on the ground before they can launch. On the 1st of June, the SBU smuggled long-haul trucks full of explosive first-person view drones close to 5 Russian bomber bases. Euromaidan Press recalls around 100 of the tiny FPVs, each weighing just a few pounds, swarmed the bases, relaying signals back to their operators via Russia's own cellular phone network. The drones homed in on bombers and other warplanes parked on the base's tarmacs. In the immediate aftermath of the 1st June raid, the SBU claimed its drones had struck around 40 warplanes at Dyagilevo, Ivanovo, Olenia, Belaya, and Ukrainka air bases, respectively 310,000, 470, 1,200, 2,700, and 3,700 miles from Ukraine. but close scrutiny of satellite imagery seemed to confirm just 13 or 14 losses, including 7 or 8 Tupolev Tu-95 bombers, 4 Tupolev Tu-22M bombers, a Beriev A-50 radar plane and a transport plane. Alongside Tupolev Tu-160s, the Tu-22Ms and Tu-95s are Russia's main platforms for long-range cruise missile strikes on Ukrainian cities, Euromaidan Press says. On the night of the 27th of June, the SBU's long-range attack drones, potentially Ukroboronprom AN-196s, dealt another painful blow to the occupiers, according to the service. The explosive drones struck the Russian airfield in Kirovsk, 130 miles from the front line in southern Ukraine. The SBU claimed it destroyed MiL Mi-8 and Mi-26 transport helicopters and a MiL Mi-28 attack helicopter, as well as a Pantsir air defense vehicle. A reported secondary explosion may point to Russian ammunition stocks or parked drones cooking off. The very same night, drones struck Kirovsk. The SBU and Ukraine's Special Operations Command, the SSO, struck a second time and damaged, if not destroyed, as many as 5 Russian Air Force Sukhoi Su-34 fighter bombers at Marinovka Air Base in Volgograd Oblast, 180 miles from the front line. The 150 or so Su-34s that are left, after several dozen have been lost over Ukraine, are Russia's primary platforms for dropping CAB winged glide bombs on Ukrainian positions. Euromaidan Press says the 27th of June strikes capped a painful month for the Russian Air Force. The 3rd of August raid extended the costly summer into early August.